Good morning. I am serving the Most High. About 60 miles, probably about 60 miles east of Omaha, Nebraska. Finally had a little coffee, little time to be rattled all over this chain everywhere. Train everywhere. Here we go. On at all times, that is the safety regulation within the train, as well as an FDA regulation. Farmland in Nebraska. But, there was some drug enforcement agents on the train early this morning looking around for somebody that had a white suitcase. And that was kind of wild. They were saying, "Is this yours?" That's not mine. But coming down and having this trip, especially straight through, 36 hours, it's like rattling. In a rattle box. Everything's always bump, pow, bang, But I did get some sleep last night. I finally got myself in the floor where I could get flat. Sitting in these seats just really don't cut it that well. But the thing is that, I was sitting next to a lady. I've been sitting with her ever since I got on. Nice enough lady. And she woke up a little grumpy. She said, "Can you scoot over in your part of the seat?" I said, "Sure can." So I just got up and removed myself. But that's, and then, about 30, 45 minutes later, she comes and hunts me down and apologizes. Which is okay too, because that's the point of understanding. Maybe we're going through life and not looking at it that way. Maybe it's just a simple fact of it is that we just need to make an apology one time, or maybe we need to make amends that will satisfy the whole situation, and just understand how to, just better your environment, better people, other people's environments, and just be wonderful people. A lot of people just rather, oh well, whatever, But one day you may need that person, or you may know that person to have a need themselves. It's just the point of putting up the bitterness and giving out love to everybody that you possibly can. The aspect of what's going on is the point of the Father's remnant saying there's no love. And that's true. Spending the time out there with the people out there on the street, the homeless, and watching their network and watching the population's network against them. Look, the Father loves the broken and the poor and the needy, and you have to have the same mindset. I understand that the situation of a blight and how things work out, but there's no secondary program out the other side. And California's supposed to have the biggest and best drug rehabilitation there is in the world. They don't. It's what it is, what it is. The person itself, like I said, I don't believe in mental health, never have. When I first heard it come out 30 years ago, I knew it was the biggest farce there was, because it was just a way for government to get its tentacles into something else, to suck the people, drive their money, to suck the knowledge away from them, from the ancestors. Look, this is not the first time, opium, hash, even marijuana was way back when. Heroin, opium, all that stuff. What was that sign? Oh, well, Kristen, Indiana. Huh. We're making a stop. But, you know, things that they pushed upon you this time, in this era and time, is to update their system to antiquate the ancient knowledge that you should have received and your parents should have received from their ancestors. And the point of it is that the ancestors now, you don't have any. Try to think back as far as you can. Think back about what was pine, salt, and sugar used for, or what was blackstrap, or you don't know. You have to look it up on this thing. And the thing about it is that your retention is about as long as the computer's attention is. The attention span is not there anymore. You're getting the point of gray matter, the point of understanding.
Last station stop was Preston, Iowa. Our next station stop is Osceola, Iowa. Osceola, Iowa, approximately 30 minutes out. Osceola, Iowa, 30 minutes.
Whatever that is. Sounded like he was talking about somewhere in Japan. But the thing that you got to remember is that, you know, they want to take all the books away from you. They want to take all the wisdom and knowledge and put it on this thing here and say, okay, you can research it, you can find it, but let's change it up that way that our terminology seems to be better than ancient terminology, and then we can turn their heads away from what really is the truth. And that's where we stand today. Kind of like the homeless. They've tried everything in the world. Now they just push them off in the river, and with no resources. Yeah, it's a thing. I was there. But the people on the street, you know, they are walking down through there. I was talking to one guy, and he asked me if I had anything to eat. I didn't have anything. And turned around, and this other guy walks up, and he goes, "Have you got anything to eat?" "Oh yeah, here." You know, they're sharing resources out there, and you know, it's truly a thing that you can't get three hots in a cot. But the police are dumping people behind places that they don't even know where they come from. And then you got people that want to give them $300 or $400 tickets for staying in the park, and finally run them up to a misdemeanor or a felony, and that way you can send them to prison. California's got it made, yeah. But the thing about it is that, what do you do? How do you do these things? I've got a plan. I've got an idea, you know, and I'm going home, and I'm going to start implementing that idea. And I know I can find several million of like mine. So, you know, they can't work in the system. The system doesn't work. The system is broken. There's nothing that works in the system. You take like Amtrak. This car is probably 50 years old. Never been. It's kept up, but it's not cleaned. This thing has not been cleaned probably, you know, God knows how long. No telling what kind of virus or disease is just waiting at the corner. Greyhound bus, you know, they dropped me like a hot rock. The night before last, I was supposed to meet this train. There was no way that they would send me anything, any resources or anything to help me, because I didn't have anything anywhere else. Didn't have no way to go forward or go back, and they didn't care. I called twice, and they hung up on me twice. So, you know, the thing about it is that it's the point that they don't care. They done the same thing to the little old lady in Dallas. they get these. It's just like they use the foreign languages overseas, and they say, "Well, we're not in the United States. We don't know. We don't look." I speak clear English, and the reason why that they get those people where it's not clear English is so they can convolute the conversation, especially when it's recorded. So everybody said, "Well, it was just a mistake." There was no mistake. And make no mistake about me, I don't make mistakes like that. I make myself fully clear and fully understood. Greyhound, you know, it cost you more in attorneys than it cost me. You know, so let's see how this game plays out with y'all, and I'll keep you posted on it. The Amtrak, they reimbursed me my ticket because I was 6 hours late, plus 20, which got me to Marionville from Yuma, which was cool. They knew exactly what they was doing. They took care of me, and they was willing to do whatever they was to do. Only problem was that I did get caught. I did catch them in a lie. I don't know if it was a lie or if she just made a mistake, but she said, "Yeah, we service that stop out of Marionville." They don't. If there's not, the thing about it was with Greyhound is that there was not enough passengers to pay the fee of the diesel going in between. That's the reason why they dropped me. There was just one person. It wasn't worth them to go there, so they just cut it off. Well, that's not my fault. That's their problem, not mine. If you don't know what you're doing, running a Greyhound business, then guess what? Maybe you need to shut the doors. But there's something, something coming. I feel it. And I was starting to talk about it being in October. And it justifiably probably is. But October keeps popping up for some reason. But understand how this system's going to be working against you and how they're going to lock you down. Well, like I said, when you get with your communities and start working with your community to see how you're going to make this happen, and maybe you're going to jump into the digital age. Well, understand once you jump in there, you can't get out, okay? Because you're going to have to buy, sell, or trade through that system. I had them, when I had my Kraken account, they locked me in because I locked them out. And the thing about it is that, was it a good thing? Well, it's a good thing to know that they keep, whenever you open an account with them, they keep drawing out of your account because you set up an account with them and made a deposit into that account. You have to close one side of the account for them to quit drawing, and they know that. They was just stealing more money. That's all. It's all just a great big, as much as everybody can steal, and they say it's legal because you didn't do something. Well, they know that everybody out there is not into this digital age, so they're just as big as thieves as everybody else. So you take Kraken, you take any of those digital wallet centers or banking, they're just thieves. Same was going on whenever I was getting all those pop-ups. You can be a speaker, you can do this, you can do that, you can grade. Hey, look, it was a lie. Once you lied to me one time, if you lied to me in any kind of phase, that's the end of that. That's the end of your program. It's the same thing as $29.95. We'll do 5 days special. You do $795 after that, and you'll be the greatest speaker in the world. Hey, look, there's people that are born to be speakers and there's people that are not. Me, the Father made me whatever I am today. I don't know if I'm a speaker or a speaker, but to realize that I'm just supposed to seek the truth. That's all I know, and I seek the truth. And the point being is that everybody has got a certain attitude about, well, this is how this works. Let me tell you something. You're signing contracts in the air. Remember how that is. The prince of the air, Satan. Okay, when you're signing a contract, boy, they just want me to do that so bad, they can taste it. The deal of it is, you have won a $1,000 gift card from Walmart. You have done this with Cash App, and I went through all of them, and they wanted me to sign on the bottom line. I wouldn't, because you lied. You got $2,800. You watched 5,000 hours, and you go in there. Well, you're one that's chosen of the many to win, or you got $2,800. You can go collect it now. Then you go through all the hoops, and it's $947. Look here, I wouldn't give a rip if it was $10 billion. You lie. I will not take it. Why? Because you signed a contract to a lie. Prince of the air. Okay? Understand how that works. It's a hoo-yah. And the thing about it is, my belief is firm, whatever it is. I sign no contract. I'll go sit down at a table with attorneys, or I'll go straight to the banker and sign contracts. But you're signing contracts over this, and it's convoluted at best. Well, it was just a mistake. See, it's really easy to make a mistake, but if you're sitting right there in front of somebody, there is no mistakes made. If there's a mistake, then it's their fault. Understand how this is playing out, people. They want to catch you and throw you under the bus in any way they can to steal from you. They're thieves, okay? Every one of them. And the point blank is that you take the situation that you can't get to a banker, everything's done over the air. Well, the thing about it is, you don't know what you signed up for. You don't know what the bottom line is. Yep, you just sold your soul. And they was after me quite hard about that. About taking the money. Has something to do with it. The Prince of the Air. And it has something to do with signing a contract. And the thing that it is, signing a contract with Satan. You don't know. You haven't got a clue who you're signing a contract with, or where it's even going, because you have no way to protect yourself. It's all on cell phone. But look at here. I've seen how they've done my videos, and I've seen how they've reacted to my, thousands of watchers out there. Thousands. And then they squash it down to 2 views. It has nothing to do with an algorithm. It has to do with you participating in the monetary system. I won't. I got my own gig. I'm just sitting here talking to the most wonderful people in the world to say that, spend your time with the Father. Spend your time in your precepts. Keep Jesus on your lips. And they don't like it. Well, that's not my problem. The Father's got something going. I couldn't tell you what it is. Like I said, this is not really me. But, this is what the Father wants out there about all the lives. Everything that I've seen and everything that's been going through has all been a lie. The thing about it is that they woke up the wrong one. Because I will seek it out. I will go out there and sleep on the street curb to find out the truth. I'm sorry, but, you people deserve better. This was called America one time, where everything, you was served like a king or a queen. Now all you are is a page, because you're in service to them now. Well, I'll figure out a way. Believe me, I will figure out a way. I don't lay things down. I will figure it out. When I do, I'll give it to y'all, and you can lay it down on them. I'm going to start with Graham first. See how much trouble I can stir up with them. I don't have to have an attorney. I was in litigation for over 10 years, just on one thing. And then that was the other thing about all these theologians sitting at the table going, we're going to argue the issue of the word. That blowed my mind. It's the thing about it is, the more confusion they can make, the word is, it is. That's all you got to know. And everybody deep dives. I deep dive. But I know what the Father said. The Father said, read my word and understand it's true to heart, mind, and soul. And you believe upon that. And it says that you can chase the rabbit down the rabbit hole from Greek to Mediterranean to the Aztecs. And all these signs and wonders that all these things that all these people create, there's only one God, Yahweh. Okay? There's only one Jesus, Yeshua. And they want to convolute that into so many areas to make you think of something completely different. And that's what the Father said, that people will try to make you change your mind by being in confusion. We're in the time of dissolution. The uttermost part of keeping you spun up in ways that you've never even imagined. The psychological witchcraft that they use is just crazy. Look, Father spun me up. I mean, he did. He spun me up good. And he taught me what fear was, because I never had fear. I never knew what it was. If I seen it, I went after it. I didn't back up. I was a kid and 9 years old. I was scared of the dark, and I couldn't stand it. And I lived out on a 50,000 acre ranch. When you live out there, there's no lights, so it's dark. So I said, I'm gonna walk around the house, and I'm getting rid of this. So I walked around the house, got about 8 foot from the door, and boy, I took off running. But the thing about it is that I had no fear anymore. So I just keep pushing forward in whatever may scare me in any way, and I will conquer it. One way or another, I'll conquer it. But that's you too. You're the wonderful children of God. And the people that I've seen that was spun up, I was talking to a lady out there. Well, I walked up on a lady and she was talking to a telephone pole. And I walked up there, and when I was talking to her, I said, hi, how you doing? She turned around and started talking to me like, she was very articulate about everything she said. And just a wonderful person. As I walked off, she turned around and started talking to that pole again. The understanding is that the reason why they do that is because they had a state of fear and trauma, and they're afraid of being alone. They don't have the love that they should have. And the Father showed me that. The guy over in Maysville pointing up in the air and talking. He had to have that secondary person to realize that he was loved.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to rise and shine this morning.
I don't want to.
Johnny Perry is opening serving breakfast.
Leave me alone.
Second call for breakfast.
Yeah, well, anyways, they're charging $20 for breakfast, $25 for lunch, and $45 for dinner. And I was going to have breakfast, and you know what? They don't serve eggs over easy. So, when I get home, I'll have a dozen eggs over easy, a pound of bacon, and some sourdough toast, or some biscuits, whichever one. And then I'm going to have a couple hamburgers, maybe a big old steak after that. I doubt it. I have a couple of eggs over easy, some bacon, please. Thank you very much. But the thing that is going on in this world right now is the great deception. It's the point of dissolution. as long as they can keep you spun up. And like me, you know, I didn't know nothing about this world that was going on until I got out here. Got into the cell phone stuff, got into all these things to figure out that, guess what? This has been the biggest lie I've ever seen in my life. Your whole life that they've created out there is just a lie. Have you seen what your equal is on your, as far as making a profit on anything that you do? Now it takes two people. I never had that in my life. You know, if I had to work 7/12s or 7/24, I did. My wives were always at home, take care of the kids. If they wanted to work a little old job, I didn't care much about that. But the home front was where everything was secured. And then I thought that, and then all of a sudden, my kids come up corrupted because of the schools. The school is just a corruption factory. It's just corrupt. You know, they don't care. They just want to push a narrative. It's not of equal value, because what they've done is whenever the 60s and 70s, whenever everybody started making real money, they started swapping wives. Something new. Divorces. Well, that goes back to the decree of Esther. And the decree was nobody makes a decree except the Father. Nobody. And everybody's been out here in this world making decrees and throwing curses out there all over the place and thinking that, oh, this is okay. It's not okay. The Father's saying it's not okay. I'm here today, you know, because the Father woke me up. Because the truth is just the truth. And honesty is honesty. And that's what the Father wants. I think we're at 49-51. 49% and 51%. If something don't start coming back, Jesus come back, he'll lay waste this world like you've never seen in your life. You think that the end times was not written in the book for a reason? It's to give you a heads up to what's going to happen if people don't start coming back together with the Father. And keeping Jesus on your lips, keeping your mind, your body, your heart, mind, and soul clean, and trying to be wonderful people, because Father's not going to play. He doesn't have to. He's made everything that we possibly see and everything we possibly do. Anyways, I guess that I made about 27 minutes. This was the longest one I've shot on here in a while. But I just want you to understand that everything that you touch, everything you do, read the fine print of everything, and you will see the lie yourself. You will see the lie. Just like having a credit card for a year, you know, 0% interest. And at the end of that, it's 29% interest. There's a way to beat that if you want it. But you got to read the fine print. And then you got to pay it twice a month to beat out the interest. That's true. And as you do that, you're going to find yourself short on money all the time. And the thing about that is that if you were just saving that money back, see, it's just like me. I never had any credit. I never used credit. I'd go out and earn some money, and I'd just capitalize on the money. And then I'd buy what I needed. The thing about it is that you got to be just as creative today, more today than I ever had to be. The thing about it is they lock you out of the system. And it's, what are they locking you out of? Actually, they're locking you into your own situation. And then you start building your own situation. You don't need them. All you need is the Father. And you've seen on my journey how the Father laid it all out for me. You know, he did. You know, I left the house with $400, went to Del Rio. I had $10 when I left $20 when I left Del Rio. I got to Lordsburg. I had $10 when I got to Yuma. I had $5. I went to, and was giving away pizza on the train. because they had like 20 boxes left. So I doubled up on the pizza, walked out the door, and there was some homeless woman on the corner. So I was feeding her the pizza. Went to the top of the hill, and there was a guy that was learning how to be a pastor. He was giving away clothes and food and water. So I took a couple of burritos, and he took me down to another place where I could stay as a guest. They fed me, took care of me, bathed me. You know, I had a place to go take a shower, and it was a pretty good place. And then I went downtown, was sitting there talking, shooting video, and reading my Bible, and I noticed a little boy coming in and out with his son. And I walked 6 blocks up on top of the hill up there, and me and him started talking. I told him what I'd done, and I shot the content, and he goes, he donated $100 to my Zelle account, which was cool because I didn't have anything. And then the next thing is that they were 6 hours late on my train and getting me to where I was going, so I got a free ticket all the way to Yuba. And, the Father just set it all out there. I had to sleep on the street for 7 nights, but the Father put me there to understand what the people actually go through. He took me all around. I walked all over the city. It's 2.5 miles in between anywhere I was at. And the thing about that is that he wanted me to see everything that was going on out there. What was wrong, what was right, what was indifferent. Well, he showed me all of it. He showed me the thieves. He showed me the places that were not doing what they were supposed to do. He showed me a place that was doing what it was supposed to do. And then he showed me another place, that was just putting a mask on a pig. So, and I've talked to several of the homeless out there. No water in town for them to have. There's no bathrooms that they could go to. There was nothing for them. They pushed them all down to the river and expect them to go down there and die. That's exactly what it's all about. So, the thing about it is that I go out here and I find it, and I will talk about it, and I will speak about it, and the things that are going on. Because the reality is, this is all against you guys. It's not so much about the homeless, so much about Greyhound or Amtrak or anything else. It's what's coming after you. The services that you deserve are not there because they stole it all. They're going to know you, and you're going to comply, and you're going to enjoy it. Well, that's not my life. I don't comply to anything. I comply to what I want, not what everybody else wants. And the Father knew me because I've always been that way, and I never believed in this system, period. There's nothing in this system that I actually believe in, not one thing. Because it's convoluted with, it's like insurance. You buy insurance to cover certain things, but it doesn't cover your medicine. You buy insurance because, anything above the waist they'll take care of, but anything below the waist they won't take care of. It's all convoluted. It was nonsense. I bought insurance when I had kids. I don't buy insurance for myself. I've only been sick 8 times in my whole life. Why? It's because of the Father. That's all I've ever believed in. If you believe in the Father with all your heart, mind, and soul, everything will roll to you with blessings and gifts, wisdom and knowledge. And as you get those things, you have got the full armor of God. And people wonder how you get there. Spend time with the Father. Spend time in the Word, being obedient. Spending time with your fellow man as far as helping and just being a good person. Your blessings and gifts will come to you. Anyways, I've had a lot to talk about. Father was shot up this morning. But anyways, you're the most wonderful people in the world. You're the children of God. Okay? Don't back up. Keep pushing forward. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to take these 2 weeks and I'm going to push a little harder, a little further. and then I'm gonna come back out. Katie bar the door. But anyways, remember, you are worthy. Okay? You're worthy every blessing and gifts that the Father wants to give you, because you have got a great inheritance in you. Just spend time with Him and let Him wake that up. Keep Jesus on your lips. No way to the Father except through the Son. Okay? Understand the righteousness of Jesus. Just walk in His footsteps. You can. Just keep going. Anyways, I'm serving the Most High. Love you guys. The Father loves you very much. And I'll holler at you later. Bye.